Hi everybody, James here. This is another case study interview that I'm doing with Benjamin here. He's a client. He's been in the program for a while. When he first joined, he wasn't necessarily right in the space to kind of kick things off fully, and so he put things on hold for a little while. And now he's into his own practice. He's been running some of the plug and play campaigns and going through the training material. And in his new practice, he's gone from 0 to about 10, 11,000 in this first month, off the back of all of the new clients and things that he's been implementing from the program. So Benjamin, if you wouldn't mind telling us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and your practice.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks. So I'm a chiropractor. I'm in the States. I'm in actually Portland, Maine. And I was kind of like you said, I was practicing. I was an independent contractor working under another doctor, and kind of just felt like I was spinning my wheels. And so, I found out about the program, and it was always an idea of mine that I wanted to go into my own practice, but I was kind of afraid about making that leap. And so I thought this program would be a great way for me to kind of learn a little bit more knowledge and get me to that next place.
Yeah, and you
So
found me through Facebook, is that right? Facebook
through
ads?
Facebook,
Yeah,
through Facebook. And I don't know if I'm getting my head of myself, but one of the coolest things that I liked about it was as I was reading, like saw the ad and started reading about it and going through and like went through the ClickFunnels and things like that. And then as I started like learning through the program, I'm like, this worked for me because it's the same way that you reached me was through the ads. So I was
yeah,
just like, I know it'll work for other people because I'm super skeptical when it comes to those things. And I'm like,
yeah,
everything along the way, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is like speaking my language. And then when
yeah,
you're like, you're basically going to do this to reach people in your community to get them into the office, I'm like, oh, that's a no brainer. It's going to be great.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
And it works the same way whether I'm doing it for my training program, or whether we're doing it for growing a practice. It's connecting with your ideal audience, presenting them a message that resonates with them, and
Hmm.
then drawing them to take action so that you can see if you can help, what that would look like. And we do the same thing in practice, right? We want to get people in for
Yeah.
consults, see if we can help them and move from there. And that's what the strategy session, where you sign up for the program, is all about. Is can I help? What does that look like? Where might you be stuck, and what's the strategy? And then, if it's a good fit, then we move forward.
Yeah.
So what was the biggest problem you were having, in your practice or in the business you're working in before you joined the program? And what effect did it kind of have on business, on your lifestyle, all that sort of thing? Tell me a bit about that.
It was just, I mean, as chiropractors, I know you're a chiropractor. It's just like we have something so amazing to offer people. But unless I was doing a talking event or a screening, I had to be meeting those people where they were at and basically more or less kind of dragging them into the office and giving them incentive
Yeah.
and bringing them in. And then like in the fall, like things picked back up. And so I'd ramp up with my marketing, and it was always like these highs and these lows. And so, each year I was in practice, it got a little bit better because I was able to build like that steady base of clientele. But that's kind of where it was at. It was just like kind of feast or famine. And it was like knowing that I can reach people. And I was trying to find a way to reach people kind of like not in my sleep, but kind of I didn't want to do print ad because like I don't read
Yeah.
newspapers. So I don't think anybody else is reading newspapers. And I was kind of looking for something else that was, yeah, exactly. Something that was a smarter way to reach people,
Yeah.
basically.
So how have you found the program, and what is it that made the program so effective, in helping you get the results we talked about before?
So I think it's just, I don't know, it's really genuine. The ad that goes out, and I think people can resonate with that. And like some of like the images that I've used on my ads, like one of them is like a picture of me and my wife. And when we can track that, like that's one of the better ones. And I think when people are scrolling through Facebook and they see that, they're like, all right, here's this, relatively young doc. It looks like he's like, he's a real person. I can kind of see it. And I think that's one thing that like when you had your ad is just like, and I started going through the program and just kind of like talking to you in your consultation call was it's just like, you got it because you've been through it. And like, that really resonated with me. And now when I do consultation calls with people, like they'll say, I got your first email and I heard about your story about how you got into chiropractic. And that really resonated with me. So it's really cool to pick up like those similarities where it's just like, I know I'm not the chiropractor for everyone, but when people read that and they see it and they're ready to make that decision, and then they start getting all those like reaffirmations for like, oh, I'm on the right track. This guy seems like he's the right fit because he was been through where I've been through. So yeah, that's kind of what I've gotten out of the program, and just how genuine it is and how it reaches people.
Yeah. So we briefly mentioned it before at the start, but tell me some of the results you've been getting, new patient numbers, revenue numbers, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so we started the ads, and my first week in practice, so I started doing like the calls and running the ads and doing the consultation calls, and I was able to book 7 new like patients for the first week, and to the point where when I moved my office, a lot of people follow me, so I already kind of had like a base. So there, my schedule is kind of limited for when I can see those people. So if I was starting off brand new, I probably would have had 14 to 15 people, but I was able to put 7 people into week 2 that were already confirmed. So it's been great. And I think I've shared on the Facebook group just the value that's added from. There's so many touches along the way. They see the ad. Like if I go to a screening and I meet them, they weren't there. Sometimes I go to like a wedding expo and I'll meet somebody and they're not ready to meet a chiropractor, but sometimes they have stuff going on, so they come into the office, and sometimes it works out. But the great thing about the Facebook ad is that they see it and they've been thinking about it, so they initiate, and then I reach out and we do a call, and then I schedule them, and then they come in, and I think we have a similar way where I do an assessment and then I have them come in again to go over everything. And by the time I'm going over their care plan and I'm going over the recommendations, I've already talked to them 4 or 5 times. They've gotten a couple emails from me, and it's like the value there is so much better than any talk or any screening I've ever done. And there's been a couple times I've been on the phone and I've let people know, I'm like, you know what, like there's a couple things that you said in the conversation, and I don't think that I might be the right fit for you, and this is why. And then sometimes it's just like this, oh no, I didn't mean to say that. No, that makes total sense. And it's not salvageable, or they want to still come in. But yeah, that's kind of been it. It's the people have been very pre-screened, and it's very, it's been great. Sometimes at a screening, I get a lot of no-call, no-shows. But I probably only had in the month, I've maybe had 1 or 2 people that I talked to on the phone, had them come in, and their appointment came and went, and I wasn't able to connect with them again. Yeah. But that's so low from what I'm used to with a lot of other ways of marketing. Yeah.
And that's that qualification process that you're doing and that we talk about, because then you're able to make sure that you're working with people that you can help. You're working with people that you can provide value for, but they have to also be a good fit for who you are and who your practice is. And so you're not just accepting everyone and then getting burnt out and tired. You're able to make sure you're working with the right people, which is key, especially if you're trying to build a successful long-term practice and not just churn and burn. But what was your what's the value been from the clients that you're getting from the ads? So what's your first month's projected revenue, and then what do you think the revenue's been from some of the ads that you've been running in the campaigns and things from the program?
So the people coming in, like the lifetime value in my office is, for my care plans is like close to like $1,500. And so the great thing is, I think it's close to $11,000 for that first month of the lifetime value. And I think I told you is I actually, because I've brought a lot of existing clientele from my other practice, is I'm working on scale now, because I had to actually scale back the ads and just run one ad set at a little bit less, because I was getting overwhelmed. And the last thing that I wanted is basically people feeling like I wasn't returning their phone calls, or they put their information in, but I didn't text them or email them right away or call them. So now I actually have it where it's basically getting, 1 or 2 people like a day. And that's like for me, like, where I'm at now, like that's great. But the cool thing about it, and you talk about how scalable it is like if you're trying to start off, like when I had 3 ad sets running, like I was getting like close to 10 a day, and it was like really exciting, but then it got really overwhelming in terms of how to schedule all these calls on top of like an existing practice that I already have. But I don't know if that answers your question, but it's going great. And now the people, I've actually got a couple referrals where, this mom that came in, she's also a massage therapist. She took a stack of my cards. She referred another client in. Then she had just brought her kids in for an assessment. So now it's going to be a whole family under care. And now that her family's under care and they're all getting great results, like she's more apt to refer other people. So that's not even somebody that I met through the ad. So
Yeah. And so when are you going to be hiring your first associate to take on some of the burden?
That's a good question. My wife and I are in the process, and again, because of this program, really, we're buying a house that's going to be close to the office, which is great. And something that I don't think I would be able to do, this soon, but having the scalability of the ads, and it just gives me that confidence that I can keep doing the things I need to do, the screenings
Yeah.
and the talks, and there's some things that I like to do and some events that I like are still on my calendar because they're great. I don't want to stop that. But knowing that this is kind of running in the background and be like, okay,
Yeah.
I need to crank it up a little bit, or okay, I need to scale it down
Mm.
a little bit. And, when you were talking about that in the program and watching the videos, I was just like, yeah, really, how scalable is it? And it's scary how scalable it is. It's just like,
Yeah.
it's plug and play, like you said. And it's like, oh, it's just been great. It's given us like a level of
Yeah.
confidence, like knowing coming into the practice that I know what I'm doing and I know I can reach more
Yeah.
people.
And you
Yeah.
saw with Deanne as well, where I'm not sure if you saw the case study video that I did with her, but she had one associate that she wanted to scale up. She was already busy. She had one associate, and now she's got 5 months into the program, and they're
Yeah.
basically all full. And so now it's like, yeah, where's the ceiling now? The ceiling now is the ability to house associates, essentially. So that's what's great is that, and I believe you mentioned this before in the community group, that if there's a screening coming up or whatever, it's like, do I spend a cold weekend at the markets, or do I just do this and then live my life? And you've got options. And I'm glad
Yeah.
that you said that. There's events you want to do and there's talks you want to do and stuff like that, which is great. But you don't have to do it. You want to do it, which means that
Yes.
the energy is better in practice. Rather than I have to go to this thing, I have to get new patients, you've now got the ability to turn it up. So when you hire an associate, it's going to be very easy to fill them up. And then it's just, what space do I have? Can I get another one? Can I get another one? And it's because once you master that attraction process, now that stress, which is the stress that most health professionals go through, is where am I going to get new clients from? Once that's kind of gone, now you've got options. You decide who you work with, you decide how you work, you decide who you hire and what you're doing. Like I'm only in practice a few hours a week, maintaining it while my wife's on maternity leave, and that's all that I want because I'm happy and I'm full. So there's
Yeah.
no scrambling. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
off the back of that, why did you choose to work with me in the program instead of another program?
Yeah, being a chiropractor, I think you see it too. It's just like everybody in my newsfeed, like one's like a friend posting an actual story, and the next thing's like an ad for me trying to get more patients into my office. And yeah, I'm not quite sure what it was. It was just, I just remember kind of like, I don't know if it was a tagline or something, and I was just like, something drew me in, and I was like, okay, like let's just click this and read a little bit more. My wife was unemployed at the time, and I was kind of in a weird place in my practice. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I think like again, getting back to how genuine it was, but then just that you'd been through it. I think it's so great to work with another chiropractor that actually like gets it, and whether it's right or wrong, like there's a lot of marketers that they try to tap into every single industry, and they're like, I know how your industry works, but I really liked working with somebody that was in healthcare. And like our phone call was just like, it's very rare for me. Like I'm such a analytical person. I had to like sit down, like a pros and cons list. It's like really bad. And like, I just don't take action. But like, just after talking on the phone with you, like, it was just like, this is happening. And like I said, like my wife wasn't working, and she came home and she's like, how'd your call go? And I'm like, oh, I just wired money to some chiropractor in New Zealand to help me run Facebook ads. Like, it was just like, sounded so crazy. Cause she's like, no, you didn't. I'm like, yeah, like this is happening. I'm going to do this. And, I'm so glad that I did. And it's,
100%.
yeah, it's just incredible. It's how the level of certainty that it's given me. And, but I think, it was just your level of like certainty and like how you had been through it before, like really that kind of like made me know that that's what I had to do, and why I needed to forward with it. Yeah.
And the fact that you pulled the trigger is why you're getting results. You're one of the top clients, and the top clients are always the ones who do the work and implement. And that's the thing. There's always going to be this element of risk. There's risk in everything. You go outside, there's a risk, right? So we always have to go through through something in our outside of our comfort zone. And the fact that you did that has meant that you got to that next point. So it was kind of off the back of that, there were some expectations that you had, because you're seeing all these things in your news feed and you're seeing lots of people and stuff. What's an expectation that you had that going into the program or going into speaking with me that turned out to be false?
That turned out to be false.
What did you think that how the program was going to be, how I was going to be, what kind of results that were going to be, that you believed might be the case? Like before you said, how scalable is it really? That sort of thing.
Well, I think maybe not in terms of scalability, like, cause I kind of already touched about that, but like really like how hands-on you are. Like like you said, like I did the program, and like I was like, I went through it and I was taking all the notes and stuff, but like, because I was working under somebody else, like I wasn't really in a place to kind of implement them. And I remember you kept checking in on me and sending me a message and being like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, it's going great, but like, I don't know if I'm buying this practice. I don't know if I'm going to go off on my own. Like, I'm kind of afraid. I don't know what to do. and like you checked in on me like all the way, and like there's like tons of people in the group, and I'm like, I don't know like if you have more hours over in New Zealand or anything like that. Like it's just like you were like always on it, and I thought that was the greatest thing, was just like the accountability.
Yeah.
And I just kind of thought, and I've been in a lot of other groups where just like you say there's going to be accountability and you kind of throw them in the group, and it's just like you might touch base every once in a while, but like you're active on the group, you're answering questions. There's so many nights where like I'm working on something and I kind of get stuck. I see other people do it in the group too, and you want to get it fixed now, and you're like, I can't figure out how this Facebook part works. And so it's pretty cool that other people can jump on and kind of answer. But like 9 times out of 10, like you're in within like almost like an hour, or you're just checking in and seeing how things are going. And I think that was the thing that I didn't think it was going to happen. I thought it was just like going to pay the money and it's like, here it is, and it's your responsibility to do it. And it totally is, but you were checking in along the way, and I was off the program for a while, not doing anything for months, and you still checked in every step of the way. So I really appreciate that. And I don't think you get that in a lot of other groups.
Because I actually enjoy this stuff. You know what I mean? Like I'm here to, I'm a massive nerd for it. You know, I've had my own success and I enjoy being able to see people do it. This is why I don't do it for people, because I think that you get more empowered when you do it yourself. I think that when you have the control, you don't need anybody else. Like you don't need me, but I'm there to guide you and support you and get you unstuck. But I want you to have the tools, the skills to be able to implement and control it, so you have power. Because now you're buying a house, you know, you're going to be hiring an associate soon, you're doing what you want to do, and you've got a practice that's going really well. So, you know, that's key for me, is because I enjoy it. So I'm going to be 100% there with you to get those results. And how do you think life's and business has been a bit different now since being in the program? Like, I know a lot's changed, but how's that making you feel? Because even relationships, I know that when I'm successful, things are great at home.
Yeah, it's just I've had a couple of people, whether it's owning my own practice. I've actually had clients that I've had with like the last 2 or 3 years that have come in and just say, like, there's just something different about you. There's this different energy about you. It just carries into all life. You know, it's just, knowing that I'm so busy, and knowing that I have people scheduled that are new this week and new next week, and they're coming in for their reports next week. And there's just like this steady flow, since I've started the program, or before the program, that would go sometimes weeks, sometimes months without like a new patient, and sometimes then I do a big screening and then you'd have like 20 at a time. But knowing that, like, scaling it for me, where I'm at this level where, because it's just me right now, like where it's just like 1 or 2 people and it fits into my schedule and it's rolling like that, like it just makes me so confident and so comfortable. And also, I don't know if it's like just having the ads, like the people that are coming in, like they're just like, they see that on my website and they're like, man, your marketing is so much better than a lot of the other chiropractors out there. Like I usually have to like call, like I was thinking about joining a chiropractor, but I didn't know what to do. And then there's your ad. So I just followed it and it was so easy. And it's just like, nobody in my area is really doing this. And it's like, it's crazy because it takes a little bit of work in the beginning, but outside of that, like, the things that you give us, to run, like I just plug and play. And sometimes I'll turn the ad on or I'll fix it. And I'm like, oh, I wonder how this is going to go. And then I just get like, I get the inbox and I get the ding and it's like, you have a new lead. And it's just like, I love that. Just like, I see that and I'm like, oh, that's so great. And, it's made me a lot happier and it's given me that confidence that I needed.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. So what would your advice be for others that are either just starting the program or considering joining? They're sitting on the fence, they're not sure if they should join. What would your advice be for them?
It pays for itself. It really does. It might seem really scary in the beginning. But it's not. I mean, it's $10,000, $11,000 in the first month. And now they're starting, like those people are bringing in referrals. And if you're in active practice and you're pretty good at talking on the like talking to them and not hounding them for referrals, obviously, but if you have a way that you do it, that you welcome referrals in your practice, it's going to pay dividends on top of that. You're going to reach more people that you weren't reaching even on Facebook. So it's such a small investment and you'd be like silly not to. And if you don't do it now, kind of like you said, like pulling the trigger, like you just got to do it. And then like, I didn't do it right away. Like I paid for the investment and then, you kept checking in along the way. So it's not like you're going to pay this money and you're out. You know what I mean? It's, if you want it, the work that you put in, if you're in the group and you're asking questions and people are going to help you, there's a lot of other great people in the group that are doing great things. I know when I first joined, I wasn't going right away, starting right away. And I started getting so jealous when I saw these people and they were like, I had all these leads. I'm like, oh, I gotta get on this. We all kind of like motivate each other, I think, a little bit because there's a lot of people in the group and they're crushing it. And you're like, man, I got to step it up. I got to do more. I owe it to my my family and my community to be out there. You know, if you're a chiropractor, like you can only share the message so much. You know, people talk about BJ Palmer. Like if BJ Palmer was alive today, would he be running Facebook ads? Like, well, you better believe it. So like, why aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I love that you said that, because there is this fear that, oh, there's competition, or there's, you know, it's hard, or, you know, what if I pay money and I nothing happens? The only reason that nothing's going to happen is because you do nothing, because you have lifetime access. And you're a prime example of that. You didn't do anything, right? You were maybe watching videos, you know, just stalking on Facebook, and then you decided to pull the trigger and actually, you know, implement, and you got results really quickly. And you know, the first month paid for it, right? Yep. And now you're going to go on and have the ability to continue to scale. There's no reason why we can't get you to 20K a month or more very quickly. And you do that per year, you know, a couple $100,000 a year. It's worth it, right? It's worth it. And
easily.
I say that on the call. You know, the first goal is to get you to break even, because if you're breaking even, you're learning for free. Once you broke even halfway through the month, now it's just bonus. And I want it to be that way, because then you don't have to worry about other marketing companies and gurus and coaches and things. I want to be that source that gives you that when you need it, and in a, you know, simplified way. I don't want it to be super complex, because it shouldn't be. Your job is to serve your clients, and my job's to provide you those resources to be able to do that. And I think that you have, you know, crushed it, which is awesome. So I'm looking forward to continuing to scale with you. And
me too. I'm looking forward to it. I know for me, like the beginning, it's like, in hearing you say that too, is it just makes it feel like in the beginning when I'm calls, like this sounds too good to be true, and not to sound gimmicky, but it's like, it's just not. Like I said, I started scaling back, and then like just the other day, like I scaled back up, and then like within like a few minutes of like doing the ad and it was live, like I had a lead come in. Like it's just like, it works, and it just blows my mind every time that I get a lead, and I'm like, here you go, you know, it's so cool.
I think that, you know, a lot of that, especially for me, because I've been doing this for years in my own practice and helping clients as well, but for even longer in my own. And I think that where that comes from is that so many don't have access to that, and so many are struggling to get clients. And so if we're just doing some stuff and then our inbox is full of people, it's like, is this real? Like, is this going to work? I've thought that for the last 5 years. Like, is this going to go away? Right? And I know it isn't and doesn't, because I've replicated it everywhere in other people's clinics and my own. But it's still it's amazing, because you talk to so many people that are struggling to have that consistency of growth, and this just completely crushes that. So you've been doing really well. It's awesome. So thanks for jumping on the interview. And if you're watching this and you're looking at your practice and thinking, how can I get more growth? How can I convert better? How can I retain my clients better? The 3 main things that we're going to be focusing on with your strategy session, which there will be a link around this video somewhere that you can book a strategy session, but also in the program, is really nailing your attraction process, your conversion process, and your retention process. And if you do that, then I promise you're going to be able to scale a very successful multi-6-figure, if not 7-figure practice, or the practice that serves you. Because this is not just about building a massive business. This is also about building a business that serves the lifestyle, the impact, and the revenue that you're looking for, but doing it in a way that's simplified. So if you want to see whether or not I can help you to achieve that, if you want to find out more about the program, then book a strategy session, and we'll go through where you're at, where you might be stuck, and we'll work together to create a plan so that you can scale your practice. And if it's the right fit, extend an invitation for you to join the program, and we'll discuss the details of that, and you can pull the trigger and get results like Benjamin. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.